What's your most controversial dating opinion?
That women should teach themselves or learn to be less masculine and more feminine, and that men should be less feminine and more masculine. Such as, for example, women should focus more on family rather than work and be more family oriented, as well as taking care of their partner, like laundry, cooking, cleaning, things like that. Or at least if they do work, then staying in an environment that is more feminine than masculine, while the man provides financial support and such, and the woman focuses on the family and household.
Weren't you selling your feet pics like a month ago for $40,000 a month?
Listen here, Brian. My mind is open. I've been better, actually, these past few weeks.
Has Nate put you on the right track?
He has, yes.
Okay. All right. So, your most controversial dating take is women need to be more feminine and men need to be more masculine. I suppose that's controversial in 2022.
It's very controversial these days.
Very controversial. Does anyone have a response to her statement?
I love that statement.
I agree.
This is going to be a very, I think, agreeable panel. Is anybody going to disagree with her?
Brian, what's going on?
I kind of think you should do what you want, and if you're a woman or a man who wants to be in that position and be the stay-at-home mom and work as a dad, I think that's totally awesome. But if you don't want to do it, you definitely shouldn't, and everybody should get.
Nicholas Bailey super chatted $99.
Yo, Nick, thank you, man.
99 cents. Why no marriage?
We can touch on that here. Why don't you finish your answer and then we'll.
Yeah, I just kind of think you should be able to do what you want. If you want to do that, then that's great. That's awesome. Do it. But if you want to be a woman and have a career and not stay at home, you should also do that. Or if you want to have kids, and also you could do both.
Here's the thing with that, though. Women who tend to work in more masculine environments carry on a lot of masculine traits. So eventually you're going to want to get married. Eventually you're going to want to have a boyfriend. And you're going to be in your 30s married to a man who is very feminine, or he's going to be married to a woman who's very masculine, to where it won't work out. So, you're going to go to work, you're going to be busy with your career, and then you have kids, and then your kids don't see you because you're too busy at work rather than taking care of them at home. So the only way for you to have a good marriage or relationship with a man is to hold down what you're supposed to hold down, meaning you take care of the house, you take care of the kids. By all means, if you want to have a career and you can balance both, then go ahead. But it just means that while you're working in an environment that's very masculine, because most places that you work, they're owned by men. So the rules that you have to follow by are all made up by men, meaning you take on those masculine roles, and so when you go home, it's kind of harder for you to be more feminine in the household since you're so used to working in a masculine environment, and it kind of throws off the balance between you and your partner.
I think that you can be feminine while working in a masculine situation or job. Like the men that you should be working with.
Have you ever worked in the masculine environment?
We should probably define what a masculine environment is, because that's a very subjective phrase. So what does that mean?
Meaning that so if you work at a nail salon, right, it's women. It's most of the time nail salons or hair salons are ran by women. You're surrounded by other women and feminine energy. So when you are a CEO or a boss of a company, you hold all of these masculine traits because you are a leader, and the job of a man is to, be the leader, be a problem solver. Girls go based off of emotions, while guys go based off of solving problems and, working things out, building things. And while you're working in a masculine environment, they teach you, do what you're told, things like this. When it comes to, like I said, the example with the nail salon, you work around women. All you hear is, family, kids, things like that. When you work for a man, it's very different.
I would include that. It should include a lot of, the environment should be high stakes. It's money, you're dealing with a lot of project like consulting or real estate. Like I worked, I had 3 bosses in their 40s, the guys who were like buying $20 million shopping centers, and the intensity there is insane. People are like literally making those deals every day, and you have to be like on their level, and it's very hard to keep up with that level of responsibility. Like you have to be disciplined, you have to always know what is you have to do today and tomorrow. It's like it's very there's no place for emotion. There's no place, oh, I'm not feeling good today, oh, I want to have a rest, oh, I have my period, blah blah blah. Like nobody cares. They have millions of dollars being invested, and they're gonna not listen to you if you screw up. Even if you make a small mistake in an NDA, it's gonna cost you your job.
I feel like I grew up in an environment, well, I'm from New York, so I feel like I grew up in an environment where there are men and women in both, and I know women who are very successful and work for top brands like Macy's and Party City and things like that, and they're working with CEOs, and like I specifically know this one woman who's a very good mother, and she's very feminine, and she also is the breadwinner of her family. And
Is she married?
yes,
For how long?
they've been married. She's almost 50, and they've been married since I think she's about 23.
Well, in cases like that, majority of the time, I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying it's not something you shouldn't do. But her being so high up like that obviously takes time away from her kids. So generally, traditionally, the man works and the woman takes care of the family. And he is supposed to support. When you have a woman who is out here doing things that men should be doing, it knocks off the balance, like I said, between the both, because it shouldn't be a competition between either two. Whether he works and she works, you both are taking time out of the home and away from the family and away from the kids. But it also depends on where you grew up. If you grew up with both your parents, if you grew up with your siblings, things like that, because obviously if you're a girl who grew up without a dad, you don't know what you're supposed to look for in a man, because your dad is supposed to be the supportive one for you. He's supposed to take care of the family. He's supposed to be the man of the house. He's supposed to be financially taking care of you and your mom and your sister. But if you grew up with no mom, then you don't have those feminine energies, I guess. Like you don't know how to cook, how to clean, how to do anything like that, because you took on the role of being the mother to your siblings or anything like that. So I guess it really just depends, like your background, your family, and things like that. But like I said, by all means, you can go out and be a businesswoman, but just realize that when you take that role that is originally supposed to be masculine when it comes to owning businesses and such, and having people work below you and telling people what to do and how you want things done, is originally, traditionally, a man's job. So when you decide to get married, it's kind of going to clash. And I mean, you could be right. There could be women that still have those feminine energies, but it's not the same. And like I said, it is a little bit harder. I believe I saw Andrew Tate. He had said that it is close to simply impossible for a woman to do a man's job and come home and kind of take off that armor of masculinity and fall back into her feminine ways, because that's what she does for a living. So
It looks like you wanted to come in.
Yeah, I would just say there's always generalizations that we could put out based on gender and traditional gender roles, which we have sort of decided and brought about biologically and culturally. And there will always be exceptions to those rules as well. There will be women who run businesses or are CEOs or are working in predominantly masculine environments, but it is important to acknowledge that those women are exceptions to the general nature of being feminine.
Response?
Um,
Agree, disagree?
honestly, I I feel like I'm kind of getting, it's like one against the world here. So
no, I mean, you're open. You're
Yeah,
entitled to your
no,
own opinion.
I'm
And
definitely-
like I said, I believe you. I mean, she could be a great wife, a great mother, and still have her businesses. But at the end of the day, it does still take time away from her kids. She's gonna raise them differently than how they should be traditionally. And not everyone this generation is traditional. So
Yeah.
Did you want to come in, or did you have something to say? Or?
I was just going to say, I think it depends on the family. I think it depends on the situation. It depends on your life. And that's kind of where I'm going, where I started, like, you should do what you want to do despite what society says. And if you want to go society, that's awesome. Do it. Yeah.
Right.
Are you wanting to have like a dual income? I assume. Do you want to get married at some point? Do you want to have kids?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really figured that out yet, but I'll figure it out when I have to.
But I mean, obviously now you're 19. You probably don't want to have kids now. But do you anticipate perhaps in your mid to late 20s that you want to have kids?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. And when you do have kids, do you want to be stay at home? Do you want to work?
I don't know. That really depends on my job. I'd probably take a couple years off while they're younger and then get back into the working scene when they're a little bit older.
Sure.
Hopefully I could have a job that would allow me to do that. And I would like to get the degree or the multiple degrees that I get to in order to do that.
Did you want to come in?
No, I mean, I kind of agree with her, but I also agree with her. I don't know. It's very hard because personally, I want to work, and I also understand that I'm the kind of girl, I just wouldn't be able to sit and wait till, like, I can cook, I can clean, but I don't want to do that all my life. And I want to have kids, and I want to have a family, and I will have it, and I will take some time to take care of them. But I don't want to forget about myself, because I think the happy kid is based on a happy mother, and what makes me happy is my self-actualization. And until I reach that point where I would be happy with my position in my career, I will continue to pursue it.
See, and like I said, children will always change a woman's perspective. Obviously, when you have kids, you go into fight or flight. You know, you're very defensive over your children. You want everything for your children. I find that a lot of people who grow up with parents that aren't together simply have a lot more problems when it comes to relationships or life skills in general. Being at home with your kids and creates a better bond with them. Meaning, like, if you have your mom or your dad who've been there, you know, your whole life, they've been around, they ask you how your day was at school, they pick you up.
All right, moving on. So we have, I'm sorry, but soapboxing over here. All right, we got Nicholas Bailey. Thank you for the 99.